I watched them all the time. I think I watched Indiana State and Iowa, Caitlin Clark play about the same last year, so I was watching a lot of basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, honestly, and I feel very fortunate and lucky to come here to stay in the Midwest. And you know, this is the franchise in all of women's sports, I say. You know, no matter what sport it is, you know, they're certainly investing. They see the type of crowds we get. They see the excitement we're generating not only in the state of Indiana but all across the country. And I think the next few years are going to be amazing for this franchise, and will continue to be for hopefully 10 plus years, and hopefully we win a few championships. But they're investing to help us be really good. So
the Caitlin Clark show is very real, and Caitlin Clark's ability to rise to the moment and put on a show is remarkable.
The media, I felt like, mishandled so many things with the WNBA last season, and specifically with Caitlin Clark and her fan base. And that's one thing when you start thinking about how many people stopped watching when Caitlin Clark got injured. A lot of people stopped watching because they are boycotting the WNBA. They don't want to give viewership to any other teams or any other players, whether they like other players on the team or not, because of how the media and the league itself has handled Caitlin Clark.
Yup. I'm gonna say it. Caitlin Clark is the best basketball player in the world. She's the best basketball player that I have ever seen. She is the difference maker. She is the needle mover. She is the face of basketball right now.
3 threes in 38 seconds in the first half. Caitlin Clark hit 3 logo bombs, by the way. 3 logo bombs in 38 seconds. This was the Caitlin Clark we all said, oh, she's different. She's sent from outer space. The Caitlin Clark that we saw today was the Caitlin Clark that we were accustomed to seeing. Oh, it feels good, folks.
In sports betting, Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA. When people come up and they say, are you going to put the Fever game on the big screen? And is it going to have sound? You have to pay attention to that. And of course, there's
a tension building inside the WNBA that can no longer be ignored. What began as silent frustration is now erupting into public defiance. And at the heart of it all is the league's most valuable asset, a player who has brought more attention, revenue, and relevance than anyone before her. But behind the highlight reels, the sold-out arenas, and the massive TV ratings is a deeper issue, one that's become impossible to overlook. And now, a legend has stepped into the spotlight, not to celebrate the league's rise, but to challenge the system holding it back. Larry Bird has always been a symbol of excellence, toughness, and vision. When he speaks, people listen. But this time, he isn't talking about himself. He's talking about someone who reminds him of everything he once stood for: grit, leadership, and a relentless will to win. He's talking about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's impact on basketball hasn't just been impressive, it's been historic. In her first year alone, she transformed Indiana Fever games into the most watched events in the league. She shattered rookie records, filled arenas, and elevated the WNBA's visibility to a level it had never seen. She became the face of women's basketball overnight. But despite her contributions, the league's leadership has failed to match that energy. And Cathy Engelbert's recent decision may have been the final straw. Clark's growing influence sparked a movement not just to promote her, but to build around her. There were talks of creating an entirely new franchise, one designed to reflect her star power and allow her to lead not just from the court, but from the top down. A franchise centered around her influence, her values, and her connection to fans. The idea gained traction. Investors were ready. The market was hungry. The momentum was real. But when the plan reached the league office, it was shut down. Cathy Engelbert, the league's commissioner, made it clear there would be no special treatment, no fast-tracked expansion, no team built around one player, even if that player was generating more money and attention than the rest of the league combined. And with that decision, something shifted. Bird, who had quietly supported Clark behind the scenes, decided silence was no longer an option. He began speaking out, calling the rejection short-sighted and harmful to the league's growth. But he didn't stop there. Sources close to the matter revealed that Bird had begun organizing what could become a full-scale protest of the league's current direction. Not just words, actions. According to insiders, Bird is now encouraging fans, sponsors, and stakeholders to reconsider their support. Not to turn their backs on women's basketball, but to demand better from those running it. He's pushing for change, And if change doesn't come, he's pushing for a boycott. The idea isn't reckless, it's strategic. Bird knows how to hit where it matters most: public perception and financial support. The same energy that filled stadiums for Clark can just as easily empty them. The same fans who tuned in for her highlight reels can choose to tune out. And the businesses that rallied behind the WNBA's growth can redirect their dollars elsewhere. Clark, for her part, has remained quiet. She hasn't fueled the fire, she hasn't made any public demands. But the silence is louder than words, because everyone watching knows she's been carrying more than just her team. She's been carrying the league. And the return on that investment? Questionable at best. While Clark has continued to break records and win over fans, she's also been met with resistance, physical targeting on the court, and, most frustratingly, an absence of institutional support. When a player gets shoved to the floor and ends up with a technical foul herself, that says something about the league's priorities. When media coverage focuses more on protecting the league's image than protecting its star player, it reveals a dangerous disconnect. Bird has seen enough. He knows the signs, he knows when a league is on the verge of something great, and when it's about to throw it all away. That's why his response has gone beyond words. He's reportedly begun using his network inside the NBA to influence how the WNBA handles this turning point. He's spoken to executives, called meetings, and started building the case for a more player-driven future. One proposal on the table, a privately backed expansion team launched independently with Clark at the center. It wouldn't be a rebellion, it would be a revolution. A way to show the WNBA what embracing star power actually looks like. It would draw fans in droves, realign league priorities, and force leadership to reckon with what they let slip away. But this isn't just about a new team. It's about control. It's about setting a precedent that players who change the game should have a say in how it's played. It's about proving that real growth doesn't come from playing it safe. It comes from bold moves, and right now, the league's boldest move may be walking out the door. Bird's boycott push isn't a threat. It's a challenge to the WNBA to live up to its potential, to stop playing defense against progress and start embracing the talent that can take it further than ever before. And if they don't, Bird's message is clear. The fans will walk, the money will dry up, and the league will be left wondering how they lost everything they already had. The storm brewing around the WNBA isn't about one moment, one player, or one decision. It's about what those things represent when stacked on top of each other. The tension isn't coming from outside forces, it's coming from the inside, from the disconnect between what's working on the court and what's failing behind the scenes. And as pressure builds, Larry Bird has emerged as the voice willing to say what others won't. The WNBA is risking its future by refusing to evolve. Caitlin Clark isn't just a star athlete. She's a symbol of everything the league claims to want: attention, revenue, excitement, and mainstream relevance. She delivers on all of it. The problem is, the people running the league still don't seem to know what to do with her. Instead of building around her success, they've been trying to dilute it. And now, that hesitation has become the biggest threat the league faces. Bird's response wasn't just emotional, it was rooted in numbers. Since Clark's debut, attendance has skyrocketed. National TV coverage has grown, merchandise sales have reached new highs, sponsors have lined up, and fans who had never tuned in before are now following every second of her games. That kind of growth isn't normal, it's not random, it's not something you get twice. It's the type of lightning you build a future around, unless, of course, you're afraid of what that future looks like. Cathy Engelbert's decision to block a franchise built around Clark wasn't just a missed opportunity, it was a signal to fans, players, and investors that even when greatness is staring them in the face, the league would rather stay in control than step into growth. That mindset is what pushed Bird to escalate. Larry Bird's push for change hasn't slowed, it's intensified. Behind the scenes, he's rallying executives, sponsors, and media power players to challenge a system that refuses to evolve. His goal? Force the WNBA to recognize what it has in Caitlin Clark, or step aside while others build something better. And if that means encouraging fans to boycott the league until action is taken, so be it. The league's refusal to fast-track a franchise around Clark wasn't just a business decision. It was a dismissal of the very momentum fueling the WNBA's current growth. Clark's influence is measurable. Attendance, merchandise, media attention all have exploded since her arrival. Yet, the league's leadership still acts like her impact needs to be distributed rather than embraced. Bird sees this as a breaking point. not just for Clark, but for the sport. If a player of her magnitude continues to be undervalued, what hope is there for the next generation of stars? He's not simply advocating, he's building a roadmap for an independent team that would place Clark at the center. Not as a favor, as a necessity. Sponsors are watching, fans are frustrated. And Clark? She stayed professional, never demanding headlines, yet delivering night after night. That silence speaks volumes. The question isn't if change will come, it's who will lead it. The league, or the ones willing to build a better model without it. For Bird, the message is clear: evolve or lose it all.